to make a lot of money. As a matter of fact, the timing could be better because right now is the time where this is going to take off, and it's e-commerce, especially how you can crush it on Amazon. And with us for the discussion today is Robin Johnson. Now, Robin has been heralded as one of the country's foremost leaders on the topic of selling and marketing products on Amazon. Now, Robin's firm, the Best from the Nest, works with resellers, private label sellers, brand owners, manufacturers, and authors to help them profitably scale or control their presence on Amazon. Now, Robin has started with only $100 and in less than 4 years grew her business to the seven-figure mark in e-commerce. Now, starting with buying and selling items at garage sales and moving to eBay, Amazon, and her own websites, she's grown a flourishing business. Now, she's quickly become an expert in the e-commerce field as well and teaching people to be able to crush it on Amazon. Robin, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. We actually rebranded and somehow that ended up in my bio. We're actually Marketplace Blueprint now.
Marketplace Blueprint. I liked Best from the Nest too. I thought that was pretty cool.
It is. People will be like, "What does that have to do with Amazon?" And I had to explain it. I was like, "If you have to, it's like a joke. If you have to explain it, it's probably not a good thing." Yeah,
Well, I get it. Well, actually, it could be a good thing because it gets him talking. It gets him
that's
asking
true.
questions.
That's true.
Well, let me ask you something. So, why sell on Amazon? Like, I hear rumblings of this, but why is it such a smart thing to do to sell on Amazon?
So Amazon can be a great place to sell for a couple reasons. So, assuming you already have a product you want to sell on Amazon or you're selling elsewhere, Amazon has a lot of buyers that are already vested in. You don't have to worry about site conversion. All of those things have been tested. The whole site has been CRO'd, and is optimized for purchases. You have built-in audiences. And compared to brick and mortar, where you have to pay for shelving, maybe you have to do a lot of, you have to fly to Arkansas to get a bunch of pitches or whatever, depending on the store you're looking to get into. Amazon allows you to get on that marketplace very quickly. You can be up and running within a few days, if not, a few weeks. And you have equal placement. You have the opportunity to have equal placement with even people who've been established in your brand. So, Target's always going to give a better at the shelf placing to Hoover versus your new vacuum cleaner. But on Amazon, if you can show Amazon that you're going to convert well, you can actually outrank Hoover and be the first organic result.
So, how do I become an Amazon seller? Are there requirements I have to meet?
So there are some countries that Amazon doesn't allow sellers from in the US, but to sell on Amazon.com, you basically need to have, you just have to be able to prove your identity. But there's not a lot of other criteria. Once you get on the platform, Amazon has a lot of rules. So, you want to make sure that if your product needs to be lead tested or it needs toy certification, then you want to make sure that you have all of those things. So the same things you would need for brick and mortar. But anybody can open a Seller Central account. And for most people selling physical products, Seller Central is going to be where you want to be. So on Amazon, it looks like one big marketplace, but like the self-publishing area for books and ebooks are in the KDP category. And then so they have a separate login. If Amazon is buying your products and then selling them on your behalf, where you're not the seller of record, that's Vendor Central. You have to have an invite for that. And then for print on demand, there's a platform called Merch, and that's where you can do print on demand shirts and hats. But they've been pretty picky about who they've been letting into Merch lately. So some people who are doing print on demand are still coming in through that Seller Central door to start selling on Amazon.
What type of things do I need to know? What kind of education do I have to have before I can even jump on there and start selling?
So the two things that I always recommend is to Google the 14 guiding principles of Amazon. If you operate from that point of view, you will be much more successful, being customer obsessed, owning, having a backbone and then commit, all of these things that Amazon expects from you as a seller, but kind of go unsaid. Amazon has a free class called Seller University that gives you the basics of how to sell on Amazon, why you need Amazon Prime. I actually did a series of 2 courses for SEM Rush Academy. So if you do Google Robin Johnson SEM Rush Academy, there's 2 courses in there. One walking through like how to determine whether your product is a good fit and like the things that you need to consider. And all of those things are free. There's a lot of paid courses. If you want to look at a paid course, just see if it's been updated in the last year or two, especially if it gets into any advanced topics. But Seller University and Amazon also has a free advertising university if you Google Amazon Learning Console.
Hmm. Amazon. So what's the Amazon University? Is it free or does it cost money?
It's free. So when you're part of Seller Central, it's just here in the help documents, and it's just a series of videos, and it won't tell you how to find products, but it will tell you how to sell the products. So when you're looking at Amazon, you have to think they're always thinking about, I'm trying to get young brands and established brands into the marketplace. So all of the content is really written for that consumer. So if you're reselling somebody else's products, then you might end up needing to purchase a course or follow some people on YouTube. Yeah, Kim and Perry Coughlin, Coghlan, are really great if you wanted to do like the arbitrage model, which is kind of how we started. You go into the Nike store, you buy the clearance stuff, you flip it on Amazon. It's a little bit more complicated than it was 5 years ago, but there's still a lot of people making good money doing that as well.
How do you find the right products to sell then? I mean, because you said sell somebody else's. Are most of your students selling somebody else's product or are they selling their own?
Most of the people that we work with directly are selling their own product. But I know tons of people who are selling or reselling products. There's a place for both. They're going to attract different kinds of personality, and different kind of risk tolerance. So if you're selling on Amazon, if you wanted to sell products yourself, then you have to come and you have to have a product ready. When we're thinking about Amazon, the thing you want to remember that you highlight, underscore, put an asterisk next to is people find products on Amazon primarily through search. People find products on Amazon primarily through search, and Amazon is the most greedy capitalistic search engine on the planet. So where Google's like, did you learn something? Did you spend a lot of time here? Did they duplicate this content? Amazon like, how much money can I make? So they're going to put the things on the top of search that are going to have the best conversion history. So in order to get to the top of Amazon's organic search, you have to get conversions. So it creates this chicken and the egg problem. You have to use advertising and coupons to get your products up to the top of the organic placement. And then once you have that, then you can kind of pull back on those ads and hold that spot. If you're reselling other people's products, then you're going to, and you want to look at things. If you're selling other people's products, you're going to look primarily at what things are already selling that I can get and to have a proven history, or I know are selling off Amazon well, that if I bring them to Amazon, they'll sell well. If you're looking to make your own product, then we really have to look at, what is there a gap where there's people searching for something, but there's not a lot of competition. So usually, like the garlic presses and yoga mats have been done, folks. That those days are over. Now you actually need to develop a product that's going to bring some value to the market. It's a lot harder to just order something off of Alibaba and make $1 million, where you're getting to keep a good portion of it on Amazon. It's very easy to do that, to sell revenue wise, but ultimately we want to be looking at bottom line profits, not top line revenue.
So you think that it's definitely been a big shift? Because I've talked to a lot. I
Mhm.
haven't talked to people about Amazon selling for a while, but I used to talk to them. That's what it was. You go find a product and go buy it from Alibaba or somewhere else, and then you label it as your own, and then you'd sell that on Amazon. But it's harder to do that now. You find than it's been historically.
Yeah, so before, I mean, anybody with a pulse could have done that. I mean, it didn't, I mean, it took a willingness to risk and kind of put a kind of a bit more of a roulette strategy, where it's like, okay, I've got these three project products, I'm putting everything on those three products. But it's you take so before, the ads weren't that competitive, so you didn't need to have like a sophisticated ad structure. You just put up a basic listing. Now things have gotten so competitive in those commodities that we still, people will say that that model is dead. There's still a lot of people that are still making money on that. It just takes a little bit more than it used to. There's more safety requirements and safety testing that Amazon is requesting. So there's just more layers to it. It's more like a real business than kind of a get rich quick thing. But there's still a lot of, we work with businesses every day that are developing new products, bringing them to the market. If they have value, then there's still a great opportunity on Amazon.
So, what products do you think right now? Because I'm disappointed that garlic presses are no longer hot, to be honest with you. That's exactly what my strategy was. So now I need a new strategy. So, what are the products that we should be looking at right now? Because if we're selling somebody else's, so I'm going to talk about both. Because I really find it interesting you say that a lot of people are selling their own. I've only ever really heard people talk about reselling on Amazon by selling somebody else's. So I want to revisit that. That if I'm selling somebody else's or even my own, what is really popular right now on Amazon?
So you have to think about, okay, so there's such a wide variety of human interests and things like that. I would say, if so for the reason why let's like supplements, like Tim Ferriss talked about, 4-hour work week. So everybody wants to start a supplement business. So that means that and that was because they were high margin, easy to source. But now there's so many people, it's driven up the cost of ads. So if you go for what's most popular in the country, you're like, all right, so I'm going to license Game of Thrones or something along those lines. You're going to have more competition on the things that are the most popular. So I say start with a niche that, with a smaller niche. I mean, I'm not talking like underwater basket weaving for left-handed amputees, like not that far down,
Got
but
it.
like somewhere in between where you're saying, all right, so this is a tool for golfers that helps reduce their strokes, or this is something that makes it so that when people cosplay they don't have to like burn themselves hot gluing things. So something that there's a big enough audience for to generate the sales, and you can use it. There's some tools out there that will tell you estimated volume. So Helium 10 is a tool that will, you can look and it gives you an estimate and says it looks like this product, this competitor of this other thing that you think you can develop a product that's better than this is selling, 10,000 a month or 5,000 or 500 a month, and you can use that to help determine whether it's a good thing to go into or not. When you're reselling, you're usually wanting things that are already selling. So you want to have things that are, that product is already selling, it already has some brand affinity, where people are already looking to go buy it. But then you have to consider how many other sellers are on the listing as well, because if even if it's something is selling 3,000 items a day, if you're splitting it between 300 sellers, you're not going to get the number of sales
Right.
that you need to survive off that one product.
It really seems to me like you just have to be in one of the top three. I mean, I don't know how everybody searches Amazon. For me, man, eight out of 10 are the top three. Like I don't like looking
Yeah.
around, right? Because I'm a dude. Like I don't like to shop. I don't take me to a mall, don't take me any of that stuff. Like if I go and I want whatever it may be, like speakers for my desk, I'm going to type in speakers to my desk, and it's mind numbing if I look through all the listings. I'm just going to look at the top one, two, or three. Amazon recommends, get it in a day or two, and that's what I go with. So that being said, like, how do I get there? I know what you said is, look, in order, it's chicken or the egg, because in order to get there, you have to show conversions, but you can't show conversions unless people are buying. So what does it take? Do I run ads and then heavily discount, maybe even to a loss, the product just to get the sales, to get the testimonials, to get the reviews? And then eventually it'll be enough to kind of get in first position and stick as long as those conversions are there?
Yes, so you're absolutely right. The best place to hide a dead body is page 2 of Amazon search. So you want to make sure that you've really thought through your ad strategy. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, people, you do have to be the top three. But let's say I'm selling PBX phone systems, the office phone systems. While phone is a relevant term, being number one for phones is probably not going to get me very far, right? Because people who are looking for phone are looking for cell phone, toy phone, all sorts of different things, right? So I really want to look at what is a longer tail, or maybe like a more complicated longer tail, like keyword phrase then I can, so instead of phone, I might look at Office PBX phone system. And while there's a lot fewer people looking for Office PBX phone system than there are for phone, all of those buyers are going to be much more relevant. And so I'm going to get better value for my advertising dollar. So don't get focused on being number one for the most broad term, but one for a very
Sure.
specific, highly relevant, it's going to bring great people. Then what we're going to do is you're going to make sure you have a really great, well-optimized listing. This means really well-crafted titles and bullets, images that use infographics. You're going to have videos using Amazon's A+ content to help make sure that you're capturing as much conversion as possible. As you start to go, and then once you start to get some sales, you're going to use advertising to get your product featured. So you're going to basically buy your way at the top. And then as you start to, if people start to search for, PBX phone system, they see your ad, they click, and then Amazon says, okay, so when people came in through PBX office phone system, this product got a conversion. And so you get those conversions through ads using things like coupons to help like incentivize people to purchase. And then once to get to the top, let's say your competitor is selling 52 units a day. That means that you need to be selling 53, 54, 51, 53, so a little bit more than them. So if you're out converting them, then you will get to the top of that page one search. So you can either buy your way to the top or you can outsell your way to the top. Really critical on Amazon is that you don't run out of stock, because if you run out of stock, they're still getting sales and you're not. So you're going to fall back down that ladder and you're going to have to fight your way back up again. So one of the things that we work with in our agency with clients is not only making sure we're always looking for new keywords, that we've got the best campaign structure, that we're really avoiding any leakage in our campaigns or leakage because our listing is not optimized, but also saying, where are we in inventory? Do we need to pull off that coupon to make sure that we don't actually stock out? Is it better for us to slow the sales? So you need to be, it used to be Amazon was just a free for all. Now you can take some strategy. So where before it was checkers, now it's a little bit more chess, but it's still a really fun game.
Hmm. Wow, that's really interesting. There's a lot. What about product images? Because when I think about Amazon and you talk about maximizing your listing, I imagine the headline is pretty important. But I think about
Yes.
how I shop, right? And I don't go, I mean, I don't go down to the description unless it's something I really need to know if it does a certain thing. Like if it doesn't do a certain thing, but I know what you're talking about with niche too, because I order so much stuff. This is the problem with somebody interviewing that has ADD, right? Because I'm all over the place. I'm trying to think about what you're saying at the
I'm
time.
tracking. I'm tracking.
Right, you check me. So I think about how I search on Amazon. The headline makes a big difference, and so do the images. So I want to talk about images and video. The only time I go to the description is if I'm looking for it to be used for a specific purpose. And if I don't see that specific purpose listed in the headline, which is why I understand exactly what you're talking about with the niche. Like if I'm buying using a video camera, then it really helps me to know like that camera could be used for live streaming. And if I don't see that initially in the headline, then I have to go to the description. So what really matters most is it the headline and then the pictures. And now I see people using like a video of the product, which I think is super cool because I really get to see exactly how it works.
Yes, so you're right. The title is the most important. That's going to drive all your click through. The one thing that's important to know about Amazon is that when you run a Facebook ad, you have complete control over the creative. On Amazon, for a good number of their ad products, your title and primary image are going to be the only creative that shows for your ad.
Wow.
So they're really crucial that, it can make a huge difference. Like if I'm selling this coffee mug, that if it's cropped too wide, the coffee mug will look smaller than my competitors, even if it's bigger. So things like shadows and things like that, and making sure your image is cropped, it's all really, really important on Amazon. Then for your secondary images, you can just put images of your product. However, like you said, most people, especially on mobile, all they're going to see is the title and the images. So everything that you felt was important to put in the bullets, we like to mirror that in the infographics and the images. So if we say that this cup is 16 ounces and it's microwave safe, we want to show the mug on a counter next to a microwave that says microwave safe, and then a little measuring thing that shows how big it is, so that people have all of the things. You want to use those images. The images by themselves should do the same thing as when somebody runs their hand across the rack at Ross, where they can feel the fabric, they can see, how detailed it is, they can see the craftsmanship, or you can even set expectations accordingly, saying, you can show the detail to show them, to make sure that they're not expecting one level of quality and receive another and get negative complaints. And then adding videos is really crucial, especially if you have a product that needs to be demonstrated, it expands, it folds, it transforms. Videos are really powerful. That for that, Amazon just recently launched premium A plus content, which is kind of that big section in the middle where you can also set videos. There's a lot of opportunity. You can even run video ads on Amazon if you have a trademark, and those video ads take up a lot of real estate, and so they can be really effective for the right products.
Hmm. It's so true. Like I think about the last thing I ordered on Amazon, it was a bubble gun, which I didn't know existed. But I was at my niece's bachelorette party this weekend, and she had a gun that shoots bubbles. I was like, I gotta own that because who doesn't want a gun that shoots bubbles? And then I think about it, it's like what you said. I see headline, and then I literally just looked at the images, and then I see a video of like it working. I'm like, that's so awesome, and then I just buy it. Like, so I can see, and I probably 85% of my purchases are that way. I do not look at details at all. So that's really interesting. I appreciate that because, like you said, a lot of people don't even see the rest of this stuff. What about the rest of the listing matters? I mean, when it comes to SEO per se, because I see what you're saying with the description probably helps pick out certain niches, I would imagine. But then, is there anything else that we should know about the actual product description page itself?
Yeah, so when you're filling out your detail page, you want to fill, there's all these things to fill out. So one of the things that makes Amazon SEO much easier than say Google SEO is you don't have to worry about like how the robots will scan it or schema markup, all of those things that make technical SEO. Amazon has really handled all of that for us. So we don't have to really manage to that. However, on a web page, you can put things wherever you want. And that's why it can be so hard for Google because there's not like a predictable way for the robots to kind of scan through for the algorithms to look for things. On Amazon, they've said this is always where the image will be. Here's always where the title will be. Here's always where the price will be. So we don't have that issue, but Amazon provides a lot of structured details. So you might say like use type, genre, fabric type, and some of these structured details can help provide you additional opportunities to index for more work keywords. So remember we said people primarily find products through search. You want to think about each keyword phrase as a door for customers to potentially come into your product. And just like McDonald's, we want to make sure we have the most doors that are relevant to our product, right? So if McDonald's was to open up in the middle of a vegan community that, is all natural, they probably wouldn't do as well in that particular community, right? So you want to make sure that you're harvesting as many keyword phrases, always prioritizing relevancy over volume. I'd rather have a bunch of low volume keywords than that are highly relevant, and be able to really win that win each of those keywords in the top three positions, and then eventually you'll start to be able to capture more of that broader market as you have that conversion history.
What if I don't? If I have a product up, I've done what you described, and I see my product's not converting, I'm not selling. What are the most common reasons that you see? Is there anything besides what we've just talked about that is common reasons things don't convert and sell?
Yeah. So the first thing we need to do is determine is it a traffic or conversion product problem? So in Seller Central, if you go under reports, business reports, product detail page, the detailed traffic, sales and traffic report, it will tell you the number of page views, sessions, and your unit session percentage. Your unit session percentage is basically your conversion rate on Amazon. You should be shooting for 7 to 15% conversion. 4% conversion on Amazon is not particularly good unless you're like a cell phone case, where there's just a lot of competition. If you see that you're getting a lot of traffic, but you're only converting 1%, that's when we need to look at the listing. We need to look if you're priced significantly above your competitors, but you haven't demonstrated why your product is worth more clearly, or and kind of look at like on and off page factors that could be stopping conversion. But I usually look at listing optimization first because most people's listing optimizations are not good. That's one of the things that we will do for brands that first come on is we do an audit of their listings. If it's that you're converting the traffic that you have, we want to look at the numbers really high. So if you're converting 80% of traffic, it's probably that only people are finding you through your branded keywords. So that means that you're not reaching a wide enough audience. You're only getting your warm audience. If it's good, so let's say it's 15 to 30%, then that means we can expand the ads. We just need to bring more traffic where we get that conversion. The thing about Amazon ads is if we want them to be maximized, we want to maximize their efficiency, we really need to get to that first 1 to 3 positions organically. So sometimes people will spread their ad budget way too wide, and they'd be better off focusing on one product, getting that one product to rank really well. Because otherwise, you find that your ads are making you incremental sales, but they're never actually helping the trajectory. And as soon as you pull away those ads, everything falls apart. Now, Amazon does provide kind of like a halo effect for ads. So you will need to have some ads running, but you should be able to run them profitably within the first 90 days, or it's time to reassess to identify what else is going on. And sometimes, I'm sorry, but your baby is ugly. Sometimes it's just a bad product, or you already have too many bad reviews, or it's badly designed, or you didn't take into account that, maybe you made a product that is for football players in New Jersey, but you made it Bears colors. So maybe you didn't understand the market fully. When you get to that point, that's really where I recommend either even an informal focus group where you ask somebody that has a football Facebook group to let you post to ask what you did wrong or what people didn't like about it. Paying them for a Starbucks gift card can really help you identify where you went wrong. But there's along the path, unless your baby's actually ugly, there's usually a lot of ways to salvage the product.
So anything to 99 cents and stuff like that when it comes to pricing, any science behind some of that working?
So, there's a lot more price elasticity on Amazon. Um, People, obvious the same best practices that work for everywhere. I mean, having things priced at 99, 16.99 versus, versus 20, you can test that. Amazon's coupons, they have coupons and Prime exclusive deals that are very inexpensive, but a great way to test lower price. If you lower it, let's say I'm selling, my coffee mug for $30. And then I say, well, I think I would sell more at 20. If I lower my price to 20, when I go to raise it, Amazon's going to say, no, I don't, that's not a good experience for my customers. It was 20 before. And so it's going to try to stop you through what's called suppressing the buy box and make you lower it back down in order to be able to fully utilize the platform again. So if you're looking to test a lower price, you always want to use a clippable coupon, Prime exclusive, or 7-day deal to test that. The other thing you can do if you're looking to price up, you can start to slowly incrementing price up, increase your price, and then just watch your unit session percentage, your total revenue, and total number of orders, and see where you start to see hit some resistance. A lot of that is going to depend on your competition. And if you're a reseller, you're always going to be kind of bound to what other people are selling their product to. So you're going to be kind of at the whims of whoever else is selling on the listing with you.
Robin, there's a lot to do here. So if I want to work with somebody like you to do this, or what part do you play in that process of helping me succeed?
So what when we started our agency, it was because we were buying wholesale. We saw Amazon was a really big problem for brands. And so we handle all of the Amazon stuff. You still need to send the product in. You kind of keep an eye on your listings, those kind of things. But we handle all the arguing with Amazon when they say your baby spoon is now in the sexual wellness category, even though it's a baby spoon and we have to get it back in that category. We optimize the listing. We do the image creative and like maybe we can make some simple videos, rewrite the title and bullets, and then we also handle all of the ad implementation and strategy. A good agency should be able to tell you what their plan is and what their contingencies are, and you should be able to communicate with them on a regular basis. If you're already working with an agency, ask them if they're able to do. So you have a lot of products, ask them to see if they could give you a report, even if it's monthly or quarterly, on tacos by product. Tacos is Amazon advertising term that basically incorporates your organic sales into those calculations. Because, like I said, we want to see that those ads are all helping you yield more organic results as well, not just the incremental ad sales. So we handle all of that, and then the status meetings. And we also will work with Amazon. We're an Amazon partnered agency, so we can help with some of those things as well.
So, Robin, where can I go? I want to sell on Amazon. I want to do better. I already am. I want more product awareness to be able to sell my product on Amazon or learn how to sell somebody else's. Where can I go to learn more about what you do and be able to possibly talk to you and your team?
Yes, if you go to marketplaceblueprint.com/show, marketplaceblueprint.com/show. I have links to find, follow me on social. I have a couple of videos and things that you can do. And there's also an option to like schedule a call or to, fill out, I have a PDF, which is like a 20-page document about listing optimization that you can look at. And, if maybe you're not ready to talk to somebody, but you want to make sure you have some of the boxes ticked off. If we decide to do a discovery call, we can look specifically at your products and then see if maybe an audit would be worthwhile for you to do. We're very low pressure. We're always busy. So that the good thing is that means no high pressure sales for you.
Love it. Thank you very much for coming on with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me share.
So listen, if you're watching and listening to this, you really should go to marketplaceblueprint.com/show. If you go there, well, there's just a lot of stuff on the site to begin with. You can access Robin's podcast amongst many other things. But what I like most is that you get this 20-page listing optimization guide, so you can actually get your listing optimized the right way. We kind of scratched the surface of it, but you can imagine that one topic alone, 20 pages of tips that's going to help you do that. So you can imagine how much knowledge they possess on every aspect of getting that thing ranked. And again, if you're doing this as your own primary product or service, this is the ticket. I mean, it's like getting into Walmart, right? Like you see so many people where that one thing makes their company, and this could absolutely happen for yours, but you probably looked at it and not even maybe considered it in a lot of cases because of the competition that you may face. And what Robin really has talked about today is developing a very specific niche strategy to get you to the top and keep you to the top. Because look, you and I both know that that's where you make the purchases in Amazon when they're at the very top. And that's exactly what she can help you do, or even figure out the niche to be in if you're not selling your own product or service. The bottom line is that you're coming in and almost entering into a season that's the busiest season for e-commerce. I mean, this is where the money is made. So this is a great time to consider getting in, consider selling your own primary product on Amazon, or looking at opportunities where you can create a primary or secondary business selling somebody else's. It doesn't matter what you choose. You need help. You need guidance. You wouldn't try to tackle even a fraction of the stuff on your own. You could. You'll waste months trying to get yourself to a point where Amazon will even list your product at the top. And then you ruin your chances and make it even harder to get yourself in the right place. There's one simple way to avoid it all. And all you have to do is just go to marketplaceblueprint.com/show. That's marketplaceblueprint.com/show. Make sure you grab the actual optimization guide, and that'll get you started. And then from there, you can do what needs to be done to actually talk to Robin, meet with her team, and see what they could do to actually help you crush it on Amazon. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you visit marketplaceblueprint.com/show.